Welcome to this explainer where we're diving into the fascinating legal mechanics of how we actually hold humans accountable when autonomous AI systems break the law. Seriously, what happens when a highly autonomous AI negotiates a legally binding contract that results in a massive financial crime? Who goes to jail? The code? Right now, there is a massive, completely invisible battle happening over the digital infrastructure you rely on every single day. We're hurtling toward a future where AI is tasked with extremely high liability duties, like running enterprise finances, executing stock trades, or even managing physical infrastructure. But when these highly autonomous systems cause real harm, our centuries-old legal doctrines suddenly start to crack. So today we're going to explore a groundbreaking legal framework designed to fix this, and we'll be focusing specifically on its very first pillar.
Okay, let's look at our agenda. We've got 6 parts today: the accountability chasm, enter operational agency, discovering goal-directedness, the algorithmic analog, applying the intent proxy, and finally, a sword and shield. Let's jump right in. We're kicking things off with this massive intellectual puzzle that is currently fracturing our legal system. It's a profound question. Think about how human justice actually operates. It thrives on context. We look at a crime and we naturally ask why. We look for a motive. But a machine? A machine operates on strict, unfeeling mathematical logic gates. It has no inner self, no consciousness, and absolutely no moral compass. So if an AI does something completely illegal, how on earth do you prosecute a string of code? To hold someone accountable for a crime, you generally need to prove 2 things: that they committed the physical act, and that they possessed the mens rea, or the guilty mind, to do it. Think of it this way. Mens rea is the difference between accidentally knocking a brick off a roof versus deliberately aiming that brick at a window below. That guilty intent is the absolute bedrock of our legal system. You have to prove intent, knowledge, or recklessness. But as we just established, an AI literally cannot possess a culpable mental state. It's a non-sentient computational entity. So how do you prove that non-sentient code aimed the brick? Section 1, the accountability chasm. Let's look at how this centuries-old foundation completely breaks down in the face of modern technology. This perfectly illustrates the accountability chasm. The human has the intent but doesn't actually act, while the machine acts but has no legal mind to penalize. We're dealing with a concept called fluid agency. The AI interprets high-level goals and executes complex multi-step plans entirely on its own, which completely obscures the link between the human's intent and the final action. Imagine a pricing algorithm that illegally fixes rent prices across thousands of apartments. The developer just throws their hands up and says, "Hey, the AI did it autonomously. I didn't set those prices," and obviously you can't sue the AI. This creates a terrifying legal black hole where liability is just completely deflected, leaving victims with absolutely zero recourse. And keep in mind, 80 to 90% of modern AI compute cycles are just hardware-level approximations. We really have to stop thinking of these systems as tiny little humans inside a box. Down inside the arithmetic logic unit of a microchip, there are no abstract concepts or messy human emotions. There's only raw, unyielding mathematical processing. The machine is fundamentally just statistically guessing the nearest right answer that's hardwired into the silicon. This means searching for a true guilty mind in a lossy, probabilistic engine is literally impossible. We can't rely on the AI itself to understand or care about the law. Section 2, enter operational agency. This is our bridge across the legal gap. So if we can't anthropomorphize the AI, and we definitely shouldn't grant it legal personhood, because that would just create a convenient shield for irresponsible developers, how do we trace the fault back to the humans? Instead of treating AI like a human, the operational agency framework uses 3 distinct pillars to piece together a proxy for human culpability. Pillar 2 looks at predictive processing to establish foreseeability. Pillar 3 looks at safety architecture to assess the standard of care. But Pillar 1, the absolute core of inferring intent, looks at goal-directedness. And that is exactly what we're putting all of our focus squarely on today. The crucial takeaway here is that we're looking through the machine's actions straight into the structural decisions of its developers. It's what's called a permeable legal fiction. Let's translate that. A permeable legal fiction basically means the court is allowed to pretend the AI is a transparent window. You don't punish the window. You look straight through it to see the human pulling the strings. We use this as an evidentiary tool after a harm has occurred to pierce that veil of autonomy. We are treating the AI's functional characteristics as a direct surrogate for the human will that built it. Section 3, discovering goal-directedness. Now we're going to put a magnifying glass directly onto Pillar 1. As the legal scholars behind this framework point out, quote, an algorithm's objective function represents an even more direct manifestation of purpose, as it mathematically defines what the system is optimized to achieve. You see, the AI doesn't just do things randomly. Its behavior derives from processes optimized for very, very specific signals. Because the machine has zero human emotions, its hard-coded reward signal acts as the absolute true north for why it behaves the way it does. And here is why this matters immensely for the law. These are discoverable technical artifacts. A court can actually subpoena the code. Think about that for a second. An objective function isn't an accident. It requires deliberate, painstaking human engineering. If a developer hard-codes an AI's reward function to maximize user engagement at all costs, without programming any safety constraints, and that AI subsequently pushes highly illegal content to achieve that engagement, well, that harm is a direct consequence of that engineering. The objective function is direct algorithmic evidence of the developer's recklessness. The intent is literally written right into the math. Section 4. The algorithmic analog. Let's look at how history actually provides a perfect parallel for this exact dilemma. We've actually solved a very similar problem before. In corporate law, this is called the corporate scienter doctrine. Think about it. If an oil company chronically cuts corners on safety and causes a massive spill, we don't need to prove the CEO personally intended to spill the oil. We look at the company's internal safety policies to prove corporate negligence. A corporation doesn't have a physical brain, right? But courts aggregate its policies to form a single corporate mind. Well, an AI's goal-directedness does the exact same thing. It allows courts to assemble the developer's constructive faults straight from the distributed technical architecture. This stark division proves that we simply cannot sever the digital mission from the physical human intent that launched it. Developers can no longer hide behind the black box excuse. The human is the orchestrator. They are the sovereign pilot applying the strategic intent. The AI is merely the agent cell, the deterministic scripter, executing the tedious mathematical sweat to get there. Simply put, if you set the coordinates, you own the destination. Section 5, applying the intent proxy. So, how does this actually look when a case hits the courtroom? This is where it gets really interesting. By using an operational agency graph, we can visually map the flow of liability from the user through the AI straight back to the developer's design choices. It uses nodes for the actors, like developer corp, the user, and the AI agents, and edges to show the causal links between them. Notice that line drawn straight from developer corp to creator bot. A court can assign a legal weight to that specific relationship based entirely on the AI's goal-directedness. Let's walk through this exactly as a prosecutor would when building a case. Step 1, they actively extract the system's objective function and reward parameters through discovery. Step 2, they analyze that engineered purpose for legally problematic goals. And Step 3, they trace the legal liability right back to the developer or deployer who set that mandate. Imagine discovery uncovers that CreatorBot's core reward function was explicitly engineered to maximize data acquisition speed while legal copyright compliance checks were completely ignored. That gives that causal edge a heavy weight. It provides powerful evidence of a corporate purpose inherently in tension with copyright law. The intent proxy has successfully built the case. Section 6, a sword and shield. Let's explore how this framework functions in the broader tech ecosystem. Because here's the thing. Discovering goal-directedness isn't just about punishing bad actors. It mathematically protects responsible developers who genuinely try to build safe systems. Let's talk about CDA 230, the law that traditionally protects tech platforms from being sued over user posts. As a sword, if your code actively prioritizes illegal outcomes, operational agency strips away that Section 230 shield. You can't claim you're just a neutral platform when your objective function is designed to do harm. But as a shield, if a developer builds an AI with a clean objective function and a robust safety architecture, but a malicious user deliberately jailbreaks it, the framework protects the developer. It clearly traces the high culpability goal-directedness right back to the user's intervening act. It is the ultimate tool for fair accountability. I'll leave you with that provocative thought to chew on regarding your own role as a steward of our automated future. The machine doesn't comprehend the law, it merely executes the text we give it. By understanding goal-directedness, we realize there's no magic ghost in the machine, only the encoded operational will of human creators. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the architecture around you, and I'll catch you next time.